So prior to doing home inspections, I was in all different areas of the real estate world. I was doing a plumbing apprenticeship program outside of high school. My dad's an architect. I worked for him as a draftsman for nearly a decade. Took a brief stint out of the real estate world and went into the oil industry in North Dakota. And then when I came back, purchased a home, had a home inspection, and figured I could do that. So starting the business, went full-time working for myself in June of 2019. I had 2 inspectors under our belt. We had 1 part-time inspector and a full-time inspector. At the end of 2019, we started to look for and hired an operations manager. By the end of 2020, we had a staff of almost 10. And in 2020, we passed $1 million mark in annual revenue. 2021, we started our pest control company. 2022, we weathered the storm fairly well in the Jacksonville area. And then off to 2023, we're breaking records left and right and have a staff of almost 20 people now. So prior to joining IEB, I was somewhat lost in the sauce. We were growing rapidly and somewhat organically. There was no flow to our growth process. And what kind of started my IEB adventure was I had always sort of had an abundance mindset of sort, but I didn't know that there was anyone else in the industry who also had the like-minded mindset like what I have. And there was an argument on Facebook one day in an inspector group, and I kind of chimed in and say, hey guys, let's just get together and have a conversation. Well, my good friend Wally Conway had seen that post and messaged me behind closed doors on Facebook and said, that's a great idea, let's all get together. Wally had just joined IEB at the time, and he suggested that me and several others in the area got together on his boat and had a good conversation. So 2 weeks later, we all met up on his boat, and he brought up the company IEB. And at the time, Wally and Brian Lunsford, who are in our area, were members of it. And then there was me and 3 or 4 others that were on the boat. Only myself ended up joining IEB after that. But shortly after, I was 2 weeks, my first Unite that I went to, joined it, and then bam, 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 got fully into it. Came back from IEB, was just talking about all this stuff. And I got back to my team like, dude, seriously, what's going on? What do you mean? Like, we don't understand what's happening. And so I started to get more clarity and vision after joining IEB. And it gave me a sense of fulfillment being around others like this. I remember one of the first questions that I had when I came here was from an individual who's like, hey, who's running your services department? Who's running your operations? Who's running your growth department? I'm like, what? And so I started to get more clear on what I needed to do to get to that next 10x level. And IEB has been a great source of wealth and knowledge to help us get to that next level. As a community ambassador for IEB, my goal is to reach out to individuals who are in IEB who are in my circle. And what I want to do as an ambassador is I want to reach out to these individuals and I want to see how I can pour into others, how I can help them. And along the way, they might be able to help me with some of the answers that they have to my questions. And as an ambassador, I love being able to reach out to others, comfort others, and provide guidance to others, and just to see how everyone's doing in different parts of the country. So as our company grows, we currently have great home inspections, great pest control, and then now we have an environmental solutions company, Environix. And as our company continues to grow and expand, what I'm really looking forward to in the future of IEB is fully embracing all of our team members to these large conferences and events and getting them as involved as I am within IEB. Currently, I've sent over 7 of our members to either RGT events, Unite, mastermind groups, just fully embracing them in the IEB process and ways. But I'm really looking forward to our continued growth and the support from the IEB community and fully embracing all of our staff into the IEB way.